Hello, everyone. My name is Rafiat Akinyokun. I am currently undergoing my master's degree at the University of Sheffield under the Erasmus Mundus Excellence Scholarship. I also graduated from this prestigious institution sometimes around 2019, and I am happy to be here to talk to you all about international scholarship. So, for this conference, the topic of my discussion is positioning for international scholarship as nurses. I'm going to be talking about the why and the how. So let's get started. I have just 45 minutes for this recording, so I'm going to be touching the most crucial and important aspect of this presentation. So, in general, I'm going to be talking about why international scholarships, the benefit of international scholarships, how to access international scholarships, and then a little bit of some conclusions. So, why international scholarships? I believe that if I throw this question to everyone out there, you already have something, one or two things to talk about why international scholarships are beneficial for nurses. But for me, I think that international scholarships are transformative opportunities. Personally, as a scholar, I have been able to get exposed to a lot of opportunities. It has opened space for to collaborate with a lot of people. I've been able to meet a lot of professors in here, and this has actually improved my professional and personal development, even as I am currently undergoing my master's degree. While I do understand that scholarships are not guaranteed for everyone, but if you are able to win a scholarship, it distinguishes you as an exceptional nurse out there. And there's also a kind of prestige and recognition that you have in the nursing community if you're studying on scholarships. So, my basically, the benefits of international scholarships will be divided into the benefits to the nurse and then the benefits to the profession. So to the nurse, being a scholar sets you apart from your peers already, and it provides a comparative advantage for you while applying for other opportunities. Currently, the country is going through a whole lot of issues about the verification, the NMCN verification, and I feel like if you are able to get into the academia through scholarship, you can also use the opportunity to write your professional examinations. I've seen a lot of nurses who come here to study and then they use the opportunity to become their UK RN. I've seen a lot of people who go to the US. They were able to get accustomed to the US system, and then they were able to write their exams and become registered nurses over there. We also have the ability to network with other scholars. As I'm currently studying with groups of intelligent students from various backgrounds. They bring a whole lot of new and fresh perspective from various places globally, and I feel like this is a very unique opportunity for me to learn about so many things and to also grow from my perspective. And also to improve my perspective about health care systems and even public health in general. So, scholarship also helps to strengthen your CV. This is something that is, it's a common knowledge. If you have a scholarship on your CV, it shows your next employer or whichever opportunity you want to, you know, gain, that you have the excellence and the exceptionality for by being a scholar. So for the profession, scholarship facilitates higher learning, and you can actually be able to apply the knowledge that you've gained from your higher learning to promote innovation, to improve evidence-based research, which are really crucial, important things to do to improve nursing practice and healthcare policies. So my major purpose of this presentation is going to be focused on how you can access international scholarships. As students, I know that you all are final year students, maybe majority are finalists, and you'll be looking at international scholarships. How will you position yourself to actually gain the scholarship? I was there just like you some years ago. I had zero knowledge about scholarship. I had zero knowledge of how to improve myself personally and professionally. But with dedication and with dedication per se, I was able to get my scholarship just a year after completing my youth service. And I believe that you can too. I believe that international scholarship requires deliberate and smart effort, and it can be really stressful. I'm not going to lie, but the benefits cannot be overemphasized. So Talking about the how, I believe that the first thing that you have to do as finalists is to be careful of the grade that you have. Grade is actually very important in securing international scholarships. So as regards grades, many scholarships give preference for academic excellence. They also want to ensure that their scholar is someone who can undergo the course, the rigors of the course, and then excel. If you've had a first class from the university, I really would congratulate you. You have really passed through one of the hardest steps to getting an international scholarship because, like I said, they have preference for academic excellence. However, if you have not graduated with the first class, you can get a scholarship as well because I had personally I did not graduate with a first class, but look at me. I secured two international scholarships for myself. So what I did instead was to build a formidable profile for myself with lots of experience in public health before even applying for the scholarship. It made me a competitive candidate for all of these scholarships. So if you've not graduated with the first class, I believe that one thing that you should do instead is to focus on building your profile and focusing on your personal and professional development. I'm not going to dive deep into how to build professional and personal development because this isn't a session for that. But I hope you do understand what I'm trying to say. So the next thing that I would really advise is to carve your niche. You need to be able to identify your interests and to actually develop yourself in that line. So, as an early career, it's okay for you to have more than two or even three interests. For instance, when I was um, during my final year days, my final undergraduate days, I had so many interests. I was interested in mental health. I was interested in maternal and child health. I was interested in public health and all of that. So, and I was doing quite a lot in each of these fields because during that time I was volunteering for a topmost mental health organization. That's a Mentally Aware Nigeria initiative, and I was able to rise to the post of the deputy state lead in that organization. I also had quite a lot. I was also building experience on maternal and child and public health at the same time, but one thing that I'll have to say is you have to be careful to make sure that your interests align. You don't want to have a disjointed interest. So in my own case, because I knew that I was interested in maternal and child health, I had to focus my mental health into things like maternal mental health. So by the time you know, I was getting further opportunities in public health, I decided to focus my public health journey into maternal and child health care. So because maternal and child health is actually a very is an important component of public health. So because of that, I was able to align all of that interest into a single big interest, which is public health, with a focus on maternal and child health care. It is actually very normal for you to have so many interests, but you have to be careful that you do not have a disjointed profile at the end of the day. Then I'm going to go into searching for opportunities. How do you search for scholarship opportunities? There are so many scholarships out there. There are so many. And I think that at this point, you have to be, what concerns you is how to be able to search for these scholarship opportunities. I do know that there are some popular postgraduate scholarships like the Chevening, the Commonwealth Scholarship, which I am a recipient of. We have the DAT Scholarship, the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, which I'm also a recipient of. However, there are so many others. I think that a lot of people do not know about internal scholarships because most of these universities have a space for internal scholarship. So apart from all those Chevening and Commonwealth are really competitive scholarship, and the chance of getting these scholarships are really really very little. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from this, but what I'm trying to say is you have to be careful to expand your cost and to improve the opportunities that you have at getting scholarship. Typically, I wouldn't advise that you apply for these scholarships alone. In my own case, I actually applied for the scholarship, but going forward, I wouldn't advise that you apply for the scholarships alone because, like I said, the chance of getting them are really, really slim. So you have to also focus on internal scholarships, of which a lot of people do not even focus on. So if you get to the webpage of any university of your choice, in their webpage, you can just search for international scholarship. Just type international scholarship, or you can type international funding, and you find loads of information about scholarships, about funding in the webpage of any institution that you find just that you have interest in. So let me give an instance. On the webpage of the University of Sheffield, this is the webpage of University of Sheffield, right? So I searched for postgraduate scholarships. So under postgraduate scholarships, I was able to see loads of other scholarships. As you can see, there's Alan and Nesta Ferguson Charitable Trust Master Scholarship. There are so many Nigerians that have gotten this scholarship and are doing amazingly well. There's also the Chiefly Scholarship. This is like a very popular scholarship that I've really discussed. There are so many. In fact, a friend of mine is currently a recipient of this University of Sheffield Africa scholarship, and she's also doing very well in her studies. And these are scholarships that typically you won't see a lot of people talk about out there. What most people talk about is Commonwealth, Chieftain, and all of that. So, everybody wants to apply for this. It is fine if you want to apply, but you also have to cast your course and, search for internal scholarship in all of these schools. And let me also advise that the UK isn't the only country or the only region where you can get scholarships. You can get scholarships in the US. Typically, people even get a direct PhD without going through a master's degree in the US. So if you have a particular school that you just need to have a list of schools that suits your interest or that you're actually interested in, then you can search for their scholarship or their funding page, and you see loads of information about it. So please don't I want you to take a very critical look about internal scholarships and not just the popular Commonwealth Children's scholarships out there. So I'm going to be moving on to searching for opportunities, the second step. So, like I said, personal development is really essential if you want to position yourself for scholarships. You need to build a formidable profile in a particular field of interest that you have. You need to be able to be a topmost or one of the topmost young professionals in that field. And I believe that as nurses, you all are capable of doing that. So for personal development, one of the websites that I use a lot is Opportunity Desk. So if you search Opportunity Desk online, you'll see loads of opportunities there, both local and international opportunities. You can follow them on social media or you can subscribe to their mail. Personally, I subscribe to the mail of Opportunity Desk mail, and I get their emails a lot. I just go through, opportunities that I can actually apply for, and then I go for it. I know that as finalists, you're usually scared. You're not really confident enough to say that you want to apply for international and all of that. But I want to tell you these facts right now. Every opportunity that I've actually gotten have been international opportunities. I don't play. I During my final year examination, I decided I'm not even going to go local. I'm going international, and I did. I applied for the Women Deliver Young Leaders program. When I was applying, I personally didn't even think that I have, the skills and then the experience that they are needed. But I applied for it anyway. I did my best. I was able to write so well for the opportunity, and I got in. And this particular opportunity paved excellent ways for me, because I later on I ended up winning their grants, which is worth thousands of US dollars. I was able to do a very interesting project around HIV and AIDS amongst adolescents, and all of these were things that I was able to say that built my profile and also built an excellent SOP for me. What I mean by SOP is statement of purpose anyway. So one thing that I want you all to take home is, as nurses, you are leaders already. As nurses, I understand the examination that we did. For me, I did my registered nurse. I did my midwifery exam. I did my public health exam, and all of these exams had a pre-qualifying exam. So in throughout my study, I did six professional exam, let me put it that way, professional exams right there. So if you can actually pass through, if you can scale through these exams, then you shouldn't even cut yourself low at all in any way. You are leaders and you should go for the best and the best alone. You're capable of speaking on iPanels, you're capable of winning grants, and you're even capable of being an international voice for a particular course. So don't be afraid to dream big, really. So that being said, then I'm going to be talking about scholarship opportunities. So if you want to search for scholarships, you can follow Victor Agboga on YouTube and social media. He posts loads of scholarships as well. Because I know that as finalists, you might be confused about where to get all of this scholarship information. And there's so many information to to digest. There's so many things to do, and that might bring a lot of confusion. But if you follow Victor Agboga, don't be scared because you see a lot of scholarship opportunities on this page. But just learn how to filter all of these opportunities. What I do is once he post a particular scholarship, I would want to see if it aligns to my field of study or my field of interest. If it does not align, I'm moving straight to the other one. So I'm able to filter a lot of opportunities within a very short limited amount of time. And like I said, you shouldn't be scared of going for any opportunity because as nurses already, you are leaders. Okay, so one particular tip that I use is you can get close to LinkedIn and Twitter at around September and October because this is usually the resumption time for many international schools, and that's the time most scholarship recipients post about their achievements. I remember I posted about my scholarship sometime mid October because that was the time I was still fresh in my resumption, and that's typically the time where a lot of new scholars post about their achievements. So you can learn about different scholarships at that time. There are so many scholarships that I don't even know. I don't know about it until I met, people here who are recipients of those scholarships. So you can improve, you can increase your knowledge of different scholarships with these tips that I've shared with you. So, how do you prepare for scholarship application? One of the trick that I always talk about is early preparation. You have to be careful about early preparation because if you're applying for scholarships, like I said, it is a it could be really stressful and it is very daunting because you'll have a lot of things going through your head. You'll have to do a lot of things as well. So if you prepare early, it's going to give you the time to prepare excellently well. What you do in a rush cannot be compared to what you do when you are relaxed and when your mind is at ease. So do not make the mistake of starting your scholarship preparation late. Please. One thing that I always say is at the time the scholarship application is open, that's not the time you start making your scholarship preparation. No. You have to if you want to apply for scholarships by September, typically scholarships international scholarship open by August, September, October, November, through that time anyway. So if you want to apply for scholarship this year, I would suggest that you start your preparation now. You need to start getting your requirements ready. You need to start getting information about the scholarship. You also need to start talking to people. When I say talking to people, I mean you can talk to people who have been previous recipients of that scholarship. Because if you talk to recipients of a particular scholarship, there's something that they are doing, there's something that they might have done that other people did not do that have actually gotten them to where they are. So because each scholarship has its own trick. They have their own how should I say? They have what they are looking for. All scholarship are not the same. For instance, the Chivney scholarship takes preference on academic excellence and leadership. You have to show excellent knowledge of leadership, and you have to also show how you have you have to give an example of how you have been able to show your leadership skills. The same thing is also applicable to Commonwealth. But for Erasmus, one of the things I did differently for Erasmus was because I had a lot of international experience. Just like I've said, when I finished school, I wasn't even thinking about looking for local opportunities. I focused on international opportunities, and because of that, that actually got me, a comparative advantage. as compared to my peers. So each of those scholarships, they have their particular area of interest of which you need to start knowing early. Okay, so you need to start getting your requirements early. And one of the most, these are, I've listed some of the most important requirements. One of it is your international passport. You need to have your degree certificate. You need to prepare your transcript, and you also need to have your English language requirements. Okay, I know that a lot of people, a lot of schools, many schools, not even a lot, but many schools are actually saying English requirements. English requirements are not a compulsory. They are not compulsory, but you have to be careful to know the stance of your school or your scholarship regarding this. For Erasmus scholarship, IELTS was a requirement, was a compulsory requirement in my own application. So you have to know what you are looking for. If you are targeting the UK schools, I would suggest you write your IELTS. If you are targeting the US, then I'll suggest you write your TOEFL and you write your GRE. And this is actually the best time you can do all of this, because by the time the application is already open, usually they have a short application period. They expect that you get your application done within a month. Most of the scholarships have, they have short application period, typically 1 month, 2 months. And trust me, you don't want to rush yourself within a month and two to get all of this ready. It is going to stress you out, and there's a high chance that you are not giving your best application at that particular scholarship. One major thing that I also want to talk about is you have to build a good relationship with your potential referees. At this point, as finalists, I believe that this is the best time, because you're leaving school now. There's a high possibility that you won't even go back to that school before you travel. So this is the time that you need to build good relationship with potential referees. You need to start looking out for who will give you a good recommendation letter when you are preparing for your application. This is very, very important, and I can't overemphasize this, please. Then you also need to have an in-depth knowledge about the scholarship and its requirements. I've said that. And um also, one tip that I also want to talk about is don't make the mistake of talking to potential previous recipients of a particular scholarship when the application is out. Yes, please. Because typically, recipients of a particular of scholarships they usually have tons of DMs when a particular scholarship is out. Let me give an example. By the time the Erasmus Mundus Excellence Scholarship was opened, I had a lot of DMs. I had a lot of people asking me about the scholarship opportunity. And trust me, because I had a lot of things doing as well. I have crushing deadlines. I have my personal things to also take care of. I wasn't able to give in my best to all of these people asking me different questions about the scholarship. But I can tell you that if someone had asked about this particular scholarship maybe earlier on, I would have been able to say that, oh, this is what I did, this is what I did, because I would have, much more a better time and a better attention to that particular person. So if you are talking to a previous experience of a particular scholar, especially if you are not close to them, you can not I won't ascertain that they'll give you the best information at that time, because they're usually busy and their DMs are usually very, very busy. The best thing you can do to cut out that is to start asking, start making questions, start looking for previous recipients of that scholarship now, and start asking your questions now. Don't wait till the application is out, please. So other requirements are a good academic CV. I don't know for now, but when I was a finalist, I didn't even have a good academic CV at that time, because I wasn't even thinking of scholarship. But for you, that you are getting this information now, I'll suggest that you have a good academic CV now. This is one of the things that you need to start learning. You need to start learning how to create a good one. And you should always have a good one at hand, and you can continue to update it accordingly. Because having a good CV, you don't know when a particular opportunity will open to you. I remember if I think 2 or 3 years ago when I wanted to start my service here. I was recommended for a particular role with an international non-governmental organization, and the person was like, "Hey, Rafiat, send your CV at this instant. There's a particular opportunity that I'm recommending you for. Blah 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 blah." Thank God I had a CV with me. I just went into my Google Drive, uploaded the CV, and then I sent it to that person straight up. And I was able to get to the interview. In fact, I didn't even apply. It was a direct recommendation. I got to the interview, I did the interview, and I was given the role. And I can tell you for a fact that this particular role helps me to build my public health profile. It helped me to build public health excellence, hands-on excellence on the field. And I was able to, expand my course through that particular opportunity. So it is always good. This is the time that you need to start building a good CV for yourself, because you don't know when an opportunity will come. And don't forget to update your CV accordingly. So when I'm talking about academic CV, one of the things that you might be interested in is, please do not put in your place of origin. Don't put in your marital status. Nobody cares about that. Nobody. One of the things that you might be interested in putting in is, you put in your educational background. You can put in your awards, your excellence, your awards of excellence, sorry. Or if you have any grants, you can put that in. You can also put in publications. If you have any publications, you can put in professional memberships that you belong to, or professional bodies that you belong to. Those are the things that we want to see in your CV. Don't put anything extra, please. Then another requirement is statement of purpose and motivation letters. So usually scholarships will ask you to write statement of purposes or motivation letters. Or if not, for example, the Children and the Commonwealth Share Scholarship, they have particular essays that you need to write. And this is what I want to say. You need to start learning how to write, please. Learn how to articulate your thoughts and your words into a well thought out piece, such that any reviewer that is reading your application or that is reading your write up will be able to understand what you are writing. And don't make one of the things that I always say is, don't make the mistake of thinking that you are writing to yourself. When you are writing, you should write in a form of, how do I make sure that the other person that is reading this write up understands what I'm writing? I can understand what I'm writing, yeah, because I'm the one writing it, right? But that's not my point. I want another person, I want a reviewer reading my particular, statement to understand what I'm writing. So please, you have to remove any redundancies. You have to remove words from your SOP. You have to also make sure that your SOP flows. It has a particular flow that you have to follow in such a way that anybody that is reading it will be able to know that, okay, this person knows what he or she is writing, and this person has a full grasp of what this particular scholarship is about. This person can actually articulate their words and their thoughts in writing. So this is very, very important. Then, how do you now write your SOPs, or how do you write your essays? In particular, if you have read, one trick is, once your reviewer sees your SOP or your essay or anything, within a few skimming, your reviewer should be able to understand what exactly your interest is. Your reviewer should also be able to understand what you are doing in that field. Your reviewer should be able to see what results you are doing. Your reviewer should also be able to see what particular knowledge that you've had and what are your short and long term goals. These are the things that reviewers are looking for, either in your SOP or in your essays or anything. These are the typical things that should, show in your SOPs, in your essays or your write up. Okay. So, and then one important thing, you have to excellently show how the course and the scholarship will help you achieve your long and your short term goals. So it needs to have a flow. And then one thing that I also want to say is, your SOP and your CV, they should align. They should align so well in the form of, when a reviewer reads your SOP and maybe someone else brings in like maybe 10 different CVs, that reviewer should be able to pinpoint your CV from the 10 CVs by just reading your SOP, and vice versa. Your SOPs and your CVs should have close, I mean, tightly knitted alignments. So you just have to remove redundancies in your SOPs and your CVs. If anything is not aligning, if it's not joining, please remove it. So you don't just want to you don't want to look disjointed. You don't want to look rough. You want to show that you have a good grasp of what you are looking for. You want to show that you understand what you are doing, and you also want to show that you have a particular goal that you are looking out for, and you know what the scholarship will help to you to achieve on the long term. So these are really very important things that should be in your SOPs. So other requirements, typically you'd need at least two recommendation letters. Some scholarships will ask for more than two. We've seen for instance, the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship asked for three recommendation letters. Although they'll tell you that if you bring two recommendation letters, you can be considered, but it is always very advisable to bring two and to bring three. Sorry. There are so many other scholarships like that, but at least you need two recommendation letters. And out of these two recommendation letters, you need an academic recommendation letter. And this boils back to what I've been trying to say. Please, before you leave school, try as much as possible to create a good relationship with a particular lecturer before you leave, someone that can write a very good recommendation letter for you. I'm not talking about a generic recommendation letter in this instance. I'm talking about the one that suits you, the one that is tailored to you, the one that is tailored to the particular scholarship that you are applying for, the one that is tailored to a particular course that you are applying for, the one that shows typically the characteristics of what they are looking for in their prospective scholars. So you need to look out for someone that can support you in this particular journey, because it could be daunting, really. And you're going to need the support of, a particular of a particular academic referee. And these are typically your lecturers in here. So you need to start scouting for who will support me when I want to do this. Who can write an excellent recommendation letter for me? And this is the time to start building the relationship, so that when the time comes, you're not just calling the person that, oh, I need a particular recommendation letter for you. And then they will not write a generic one. Generic one in the sense that they will just write, she graduated from the school, she's a good girl, she's serious. Those ones are generic. It's not tailored. You want to see things like, what particular skills does this person have? Does she have a good leadership skills? How is she able to exemplify that? How about her communication skill? How was she able to do that? What was her grade in the particular course that I taught her? Or if you are using your research supervisor, what particular characteristics did you exemplify when you were doing your research? So these are the things that should be in your recommendation letter. So you don't just want, a casual relationship with a potential referee. You need to start building the relationship now. Okay. Then another thing is publication. All right. I've seen a lot. Publication is actually very, very good. It gives you a balance. It makes you ahead. Okay, especially if you've not graduated with the first class. You want to show that you can also build skills if you've not graduated with the first class. Personally, for me, one of the major ways that I was able to do this was to have publications. While a publication is not usually compulsory for scholarships, it is very, very advisable to have publications in the field. Okay, there are some scholarships that I would say, oh, they don't require publication, but if you're applying for scholarships, you have to be at the top of your game. So anything that you can do that can exemplify, anything that you can do that can make you exceptional, anything that you can do that can make you a competitive candidate, that is what you should try to aim for. In particular, for example, the Commonwealth Share Scholarship has a particular page for publication where you input your publications in there. I know that a lot of people will talk about it not being compulsory, but most of the Commonwealth shared scholars that I've seen actually have publications. All right. So publication is a very, very big advantage. And I would also suggest that the publication itself is not just about publishing a particular paper in a journal. There are also some skills that you can learn when you are writing. For instance, like I said, writing, a good writing skill is very, very important. If you have been used to writing academic if you have been used to writing, if you are used to academic writing, let me put it that way, you'd have learned some particular skills in writing. For instance, you know the difference between using a passive and an active voice when writing. You know how to put your thoughts into words better compared to someone that isn't used to writing. So I believe that this is actually a very, very important thing that you can think of. So if you are thinking about improving your academic writing, or learning how to publish, or learning how to improve on your research skills, I would suggest you join the Institute of Nursing Research. They are doing very exceptional things out there, and I'm sure you all know about the institute already. This is a shot that you can call. Okay, then I would also suggest that you get yourself a mentor. Mentorship is very, very important if you are looking out for scholarship. If you have a mentor who understands how scholarship work, the journey becomes easier. Because if you're trying to get every information yourself, it's going to weigh you down. It's going to it's going to look so big to you. It's going to look so complex. But if you have a mentor that is there already, all right, that person can be able to easily signpost you to opportunities. They can be able to give you really nice advice about how you can improve yourself. Okay, and having a mentor just means that you are standing on the shoulders of giants. What you can see at the shoulder of a giant, if you are not standing there, or if you are really down there, you won't be able to see it. And mentorship gives you that advantage of getting ahead of a lot of people. You'll be able to see how things work in the real life. And I would also want to say that if you want to get yourself a mentor, all right, you should look out for someone who has similar interests as you. For instance, if you are interested in research, you should look out for a mentor that has good grasp of research and publication. If you are looking for a mentor who is good at storytelling or advocacy, you should look out for a mentor that is good. You should look out for someone that is good in that field. If you're looking for a mentor that would you know take you through the process of scholarship and everything, that person should be someone that has gotten a particular scholarship before. So your interest should align. You're not looking for someone who is in public health, and then you're telling that person something that you're interested in clinical, maybe in anesthesiology, or maybe in psychology or something. The interests are different. Fine, the mentor, that person might be able to suggest someone else who can be of help. But if you want to get a mentor, the person should have a similar interest as you. All right. Then, who are your potential reviewers? I would always say that the strength of your scholarship application depends on the strength of your reviewer. And I would also say that your reviewer might be your mentor. Your mentor can serve as your reviewer, but it's not compulsory. You might just have someone who reviews your application for you. And that person, the characteristics that I would suggest that you look out for should be: number one, the person can excellently articulate thoughts via writing. The person should be a good writer. I'm sorry to say, but you don't need your mates to be a reviewer if that person is not someone that is good with writing, or someone that has a very good understanding of how things work. Things like someone that knows how to perhaps search the internet, or someone that knows how to or someone that has a better knowledge about scholarship than you are. But if you don't have that person, please look out for someone that's particularly probably won a scholarship before, someone that understands how scholarship works, someone that is good with writing. I mean, someone who is able to bring thoughts together to make sense of things. Not just someone that will say, oh, this particular grammar is wrong. Maybe you're supposed to use a his or a was or something. I'm sorry to say, but Grammarly will do all of that for you. You don't need someone that will be pinpointing grammatical errors for you. You need someone that would be able to say that, oh, this particular concept, I believe you can put this in so and so paragraph. I believe you can input something like this. It's going to make your essay strong. These are the things that you want in a particular reviewer. You don't want someone that would say that, yeah, your grammar is not, and that your grammar is not correct. It's good to use a good grammatical, to have a good grasp of grammar if you're writing your scholarship essays, or if you're applying for scholarship. This is it's in fact it's a very, very important thing to do. But things that an application can do for you, please, you can just let it go. And please, one thing I also want to say is, do not use AI to write your scholarship application. It's going to flag it, because people who are reviewing scholarship applications, they've been doing it for years. They've read a lot of applications, and they can easily detect if this particular thing is written by an AI or not. Don't. And more so, an AI lacks something. It lacks emotion. And when you are writing for your scholarship application, you need to put in emotions. You need to put in real life skills. You need to show skills like credibility. You need to show skills like leadership. You need to show skills like integrity. You need to show skills like you need to show yourself to be a results driven individual, someone who can turn a particular opportunity into its own advantage or into its own benefit, and they're able to use it to help a wider population. So I'm going to give an example of how I did that in my application. I'm going to go back to my women deliver application. All right. So in my CV, I started as, applying for the women deliver. Out of over 5,600 applicants, I was selected as one of the 300 young leaders. From there, I was able to complete, not the word complete, I was able to complete the women deliver young leaders program course, which consisted of a total of 8 courses that helped me to build my advocacy skill. Be careful of the word build. You can see that I'm using action words there. Then from there, I was able to competitively apply for a grant, the Young Women Deliver Young Leaders grant, which I had previously learnt from the grant writing course that I did with the Women Deliver course. Look at how I was able to build from just being an applicant to learning in the program to using what I've learnt to gain something else. So from the grant, I was able to lead an advocacy, an HIV/AIDS advocacy for adolescent girls and young women in Lagos, which benefited over 1,500 adolescent girls and young women living with HIV. Look at how I was able to build from being an applicant to winning, to learning, to winning another scholarship, to use to using the scholarship to build an advocacy, and to use that advocacy to impact people. These are typical lines that reviewers want to see. They want to see that once they give you this scholarship, you'll be able to utilize that scholarship to learn and to also impact your community. So, one very important thing is documentation. As nurses, we always say that anything that you've not done in nursing, anything that you've done in nursing that you have not documented, it's as good as you not doing it. So any of your activities that you've done and you've not successfully documented that activity, it is as good as you've not done anything. And this is also very, very applicable to scholarship application. When you're writing your application, you need to show as many evidence as possible, because you're not the only one applying for that scholarship at that particular time. There are so many exceptional people applying from different countries, especially if you are applying for the competitive ones like the Chivlin, Commonwealth, and Erasmus. Those ones are they are really competitive. I'm not trying to scare you, because these are as competitive as it is, people are winning it. I won it, and I believe that you can too, because just like I said, I graduated from the same institution, and during my final year, I didn't even know anything about scholarship, but I was able to build myself to this level. So I think that if I can do it, you can too. All right. But that does not remove the fact that scholarships are competitive, and you need to provide enough evidence for any of your activity that you have done. So another Anybody could say that, oh, I did this particular thing, I won a grant of 10,000 USD, I was able to impact the lives of 20,000 girls, I was able to do this and this. If you have not provided evidence, it is as good as you've not done it, because it is easy to say you've done this, but where is the evidence? How do you convince me that you were actually the one that did it? And this is how documentation comes in. Every of the things that you are doing now, as much as you are volunteering for a particular organization, as much as you are having a speaking engagement, as much as you are doing anything you are doing for your to improve yourself, to improve your profile, please have a way of documenting it. One of the ways is to post it on LinkedIn, post it on Medium. If you don't know how to post on Medium, post on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn will generate a link for you where you can attach to your application. One of the things that I also did when I was doing my application was everything that I did, all my international speaking engagements, the recording, I downloaded it and uploaded it on a particular drive. Every of the courses, the short courses that I did, I downloaded all the relevant, I mean relevant short courses anyway. I downloaded all the certificates and I put it inside a particular Google Drive. Okay. Every of the activity that I did, the announcement of my grant, I screenshotted it and I put it in the drive. My activities with the grant, all of my advocacy activities, my pictures, everything. In fact, I compiled everything into the Google Drive such that when you are reading my application, you're also seeing the evidence of everything that I've done. So please, as long as you're starting now, don't just there are so many things that you can do as young people. You have so many opportunities to volunteer, so many opportunities to improve your personal, to improve yourself and all of that. Please don't forget to document your activities. Don't just be a placard carrier. Don't just be someone that will say, oh, we are going for an advocacy in Kinika Kinika, and you just snap pictures and that's all. Any picture that you have snapped that you have not documented is as good as you've not done anything. So when you are posting, I know a lot of people have issues with understanding what they will say for each activity they've done. So if you want to post on LinkedIn, a simple way is start with the statement. What made you volunteer for this particular role? What made you, what sparked your interest? What was your problem statement? What was the original problem? What problem are you trying to tackle? Start from there. Then your second paragraph, you can now say, okay, well, to tackle this problem, this is what you did. You volunteered for Kinika Kinikon, or you volunteered for this particular organization, or you did this in this particular capacity. All right, you're already bringing evidence based to it. Then you can now say, what were your results? What results did you get? What are your recommendations? So you can end it with your recommendations. Any reviewer that is saying this, or anybody that sees something like this, will understand that you are writing from a point, you are writing scientifically, will understand that you have an evidence-based knowledge of what you are doing, that you are not just doing anything anyhow. Okay? Like I said, documentation is very, very essential. Please take all of these tips and take them really take them really well, hold them tight, because these are the things that actually worked for me. These are the things that helped me to get my scholarships, to win the scholarships that I was able to get. No matter as competitive as they were, I was able to win them. So, and I believe that you can too. So in summary, winning an international scholarship is ambitious and it could be daunting, but it is very achievable. You need to believe in yourself, you need to work hard, and you need to work smart. You need to prioritize your professional and personal development. You need to gain important networks and seek collaborators. Please, nurses, learn how to seek collaborators. As nurses, I already said you are leaders anywhere that you find yourself. Your voice should be as loud as anything, and they should be as clear as anything. Your voice should be top there. So please do not cut yourself short. And I believe that lastly, if I can, like I said, you can too. I'm happy to have talked to you about how to position yourself for scholarships. If you have any questions for me, I am really happy to reply. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter as well, and you can also message me if you have any questions, personal questions that you'd want to get answers to. Thank you very much for having me.